just a couple of friends of mine. That's who they urged me to come over here. I lived in Moscow, had my own, you know, I was like a real estate broker. I was doing okay, and then these guys said, "Oh, what are you doing here? Let's go to Canada." But one of these girls, she went to BC. The other one, basically, I lost touch with her. But yeah, I don't have a family. I just came myself.
Now you're gonna start climbing.
Yeah, so this is day 2. My pilot, Jack, is in the front. And I've been asking him, I said, why are your lights? They're so bright.
8 kilometers long, that's what.
Sorry, how long?
8 kilometers, it says.
Man. Yeah, it's up and down, you know? So we spent the night in Kamloops, so he went home. I slept at the inspection station, and then I just disconnected the truck and drove back into town, like a couple of kilometers. He showed me where there was a 24/7 petrol pass, so I got one side full. It was $1.57 Canadian per liter. But what do you do, right? You need fuel. And then this morning we started at 7 local time, which is 10 my time. And by the way, I can see how smoke is coming out of only one pipe, right? The one on the left is fake. One of these days, I'm telling you, I gotta do something about that, because that's just ridiculous, especially in winter. You have 2 exhaust pipes, and in winter, you know, white smoke is coming out of the right pipe. I don't like stuff like that that is, you know, non-functional for looks only. I don't like it. But it's emissions, right? Like, I don't have emissions on this side. Like, the entire emissions big box is on the passenger side. That's why only that one is connected, because they want the exhaust to go through the cleaning process, right? So let's say if I can pay somebody to hook up the left exhaust under the cap to the engine, then that part of the exhaust will be let out uncleaned, right? And you cannot do that, especially if you're somewhere near California. You know, people will start having heart attacks and start dropping like flies. You know, you gotta be really careful when you're close to California. So yeah, today I don't think I'm gonna. Yesterday I was doing the manual override for the fan. I got tired of that BS, because like there's a hill every 5 minutes. But yeah, this guy has very bright lights. I said, what year is your truck? It's a Dodge Ram. And he says, 2017. And I said, did you change your lights in the back? He says, no. So I said, are you saying that those are factory lights? He says, yeah. But I like that they're so bright, you know, whenever he indicates lane changes, something, it's nice. And so now we stopped after 1 hour. We stopped for a break, because, you know, I couldn't even use a washroom. There was nothing there. No coffee, nothing. And I came close to look at his truck, and I see that, yeah, they're regular lights. But I see inside it's LED. And I said, I don't think that 2017 trucks came with LED lights in the back. And he says, no, this one came with LED lights. And then I wanted to text him in the morning, because he's coming from home, right? He's going past the gas station. I wanted to text him and ask him to bring me coffee, but I was just curious if he would gas himself. No, he shows up at 5 to 7 because we agreed on 7 local time. And I said, you didn't think to bring me coffee, did you? And he says, oh, I drink tea. And then he told me that he does drink coffee, but in the morning, and after that he just brings tea with him in the truck. But I mean, man, you know, when in US, right, somebody is charging you $350, $400, you know, $450. It's been my experience, especially when you work together for 2 days. So the guy goes to a hotel, right? So I'm paying for his hotel. No, because he's gonna charge me on the invoice, right? And then they always, usually like 9 cases out of 10, they will ask you, like if you know, like last time I think, yeah, when I was going to BC, the guy left me at the rest area. And of course, he just has a pickup truck. He's not gonna sleep in the pickup truck. So he drove 20 kilometers to the nearby town, and he went to a hotel. So he had a nice, you know, nice sleep, breakfast, coffee, and they always ask you on the night before, like if it's a good pilot, they say, "Would you like me to bring you something, like you know, Timmy's, you know, coffee or breakfast?" Well. Actually, no. I never had anybody offer me breakfast, but coffee is just, you know, good manners. I don't know. So you leave the truck in the middle of nowhere at the inspection station, and you're coming from home, you're going past the gas station, and it never occurs to you to grab a cup of coffee for the guy who's paying you $2,000 Canadian. Right? Because that's what these guys are charging. They're charging $80 Canadian, but for all hours. So he lives in Kamloops, so he drove from Kamloops to Osayus to meet me at the border, and then we drove back to Kamloops. So that's probably like 11 hours for him, like billable hours. And then today it's gonna take us at least 8 hours. So it's gonna be like 20 hours plus tax. 20 times 80, 1,600. Oh, and then he has to go back. Yeah, that's why he said $2,300 Canadian. And you get no coffee. But you do get, you know, a nice looking truck. And the guy just gave me a VHF radio. And I said, what is this? And he says, well, there'll be a spot in a town up ahead with a couple of sharp turns, and it's a narrow road. He says I have to be way ahead, so I'm guessing the CB will not work there, because he has a CB, I have the CB. We're in, like I always say, let's use channel. I always use the day of the month. So yesterday was October 8th, and so I said, let's use October 8th. And today I asked him, I said, you want to stay on 8th? He says, yeah, okay. But I keep it off. Like, why would I have my CB on when I'm driving on the road, you know, to listen to all that BS over there? People are swearing. There's usually some church fanatic will be, you know, pushing Christ and Jesus, you know. Repent, repent, repent on channel 19. And so unless there's an accident ahead and I just want to know what's going on, I keep my CB on, because I know sometimes people, you know, leave comments. They say, hey, we try to, you know, call you on CB. I'm sorry. This is a tool for work, so I have it on when there's an accident, there's a traffic jam, aliens landing on the highway. But most of all, I use it with pilots. And actually, it says right on your permit that you must have a way to communicate with the pilot escort driver. And so here the mountains, a lot of people are using VHF radios. You know, it's like CB, right? It's a two-way radio, but it's first off, this radio, he chose a private channel and he set up everything, so he has a bigger radio in his truck, and so he set up a private channel, I'm guessing like password protected, so nobody can hear us, you know, so it's all private. But the main part, the main beauty of this VHF is that it reaches much further. That's why in the north, you know, like Arctic over there, truckers usually, they might have a CB, but they have a VHF. Most of them will have a VHF radio. Because, you know, if something happens, right, you break down, and you can call somebody like, you know, 50 kilometers away or something. So yeah, that's what driving here is like. It's up and down, and honestly, I don't understand. Like one guy wrote a comment saying that I hate automatics in the mountains. Really? Well, I think you drink too much coffee. You know? Why would I want to do this 1,500 times a day in here? Like, I lost count how many times I'm shifting, you know? Okay, heavy gear is okay, alright? Just release throttle, flip the switch, increase RPM, bump. You like, let's say now I'm in what? I'm in 6, I was in 6 high, now I'm in 6 low. That's easy. Or going back to 6 high, right? I like that. That's kind of like semi-automatic. But shifting when you are 175,000 pounds gross on an 8% hill, you know, as Sherlock Holmes used to say, my time can be more profitably employed elsewhere. You know, I don't want to spend my time shifting manual transmission on hills with a heavy load. You see, like now it's dying. I'm looking at the RPM. When it reaches 1200, I'm gonna release the throttle, flip the switch, increase RPM. So now we're back in 6 low. But the RPM are still going down. 1250, 1240. The throttle is in the floor. Fuel restriction is 3. Oh man. $13.50, $13.60, $13.70, $13.80. Boost 30. Wow. I'm pretty sure it's gonna die. The 6 is gonna die. The coffee at the gas station was pretty good, very strong. And then inside they had Canadian A&W. So I got my favorite two mama burgers with nothing on except grilled onions and mustard. And I had to repeat like 20 times. Do not put anything else. I said I want to have a bun, piece of meat, grilled onions, and mustard. And the guy, mustard? I said, yeah, you know the yellow stuff? And all the workers inside, they were either Chinese or Vietnamese or Native American. Because there's lots of Indian reservations here. Like I'm driving, and quite often I see signs, you know, welcome, and they would have a sign in. The sign will be in English, and then a couple of lines will be in their language, but it's the same Latin Latin characters. Oh yeah, and the first stop was, the town was called Cash Creek. Cash, like money, you know, Cash Creek. And there was a place to pull out over there. Like this guy, he says he's been doing it for 15 years. 15 years. And he's, I forgot, either 72 or 75 years old. But looks pretty good. I asked him about his personal, you know, like, do you smoke, do you drink? And he says he used to work at the mine, and he smoked a lot, he drank a lot, and then he retired from that, and he had a quadruple bypass. You know, the heart surgery. And he stopped smoking, and now he only has a couple of coffees in the morning. After that he switches to tea. And I said, do you drink alcohol? He says, not much. So he has an occasional drink. And he was, he said before the operation he was also like 40 pounds overweight, so he had to lose some weight. But still, the guy's like 75, he still works, you know. So it's pretty cool, you know. You meet lots of interesting people in this job. All right, I think we're finally going downhill. But then I gotta watch for all these, you know, turns, right? Because it's never straight. It's always like this. No, wait, it's still going up. My bad. And I think I got lucky with the weather. So I have chains, but I hate using them. So in the morning it was +5, which is what, like 42, 43 F, I think. Now it's +9, which is 49. How do I know that? Is because +10 Celsius is exactly 50 F, 50. So we're not there yet, but you know, it's pretty good because the truck, it helps the truck not to overheat too much. Oh yeah, one thing he modified on his truck is he has that oversized load sign at the top, and he has some flashing lights there that he turned off. He has them facing the rear and facing the front. He has like double, and just like a cop car, you know, he can control which lights are flashing. So he says he turned off the lights to the rear, so he only left the lights facing forward. But he also has a duplicate turn signals and stop lights where the oversized load sign is at the top there. I don't see this in the States. In the States, you know, Pilot is just a small car basically, but here it's more serious. You see, people have, it's, you know, it's pretty safe. You can see what he's doing, you know. As soon as he taps his brakes, he has 4 lights come on. You know, like regular taillights and then those 2 extra ones. So it's highly visible, except these flashing lights at the top are like really, you know, I would have changed those because they are very not very strong. I think the ones in the back, he has that old style, you know, those rotators. Horses over here. So yeah, we got lucky with the weather. Alright, so today's Saturday, so time now is 9:15 in the morning local, and we have 396 kilometers to go to Prince George, and then I'm gonna unload today and probably spend the night in Prince George, and then tomorrow, that's it, I'm driving to Edmonton. I don't want to have anything to do with British Columbia. I don't want to haul loads out of here. I don't want to haul loads into here, because it's just crazy the way they charge for pilots and for permits. Like this time I got lucky with a permit, 87 bucks Canadian. Last time it was $1,000. So you know, if you're paying $1,000 for the permit, and then now all the pilots jerked up their prices, and quite often you need 2 pilots. Like what? So that's like 3-4 grand for the permit and the pilots in the BC alone. Just BC. You know, and it takes forever. You lose so much time on these hills. So now if people ask me, do you go to the west? I'll say, like, where do you go? Like, what are your lanes? I'll say everywhere except California and British Columbia. So now I'm gonna add British Columbia to the list of, to the bad boy list. You know? And a legitimate question. Why do you charge both ways for the pilot? Like, I don't do that in my business, right? Like, people would have a heart attack if I were, let's say, this one, I started in Red Deer, right? And then I drove 1,300 miles to Las Vegas, loaded this, and now we're going to Prince George. I did not charge him by the hour from the moment I left Red Deer, right? You only do that when it's you know, like short distance. But I know in Alberta, like in the west here, it's pretty common, and that's what makes it, you know, so expensive, because it's a lot of miles, right, to charge. And so he charged me from the moment he left his home yesterday, went to the border to pick me up, and then we drove to Kamloops, right? So he went home, and now we're driving to Prince George, and they're gonna charge me for his return to Kamloops. Like, why am I paying for that, right? That's not my concern. So I don't think they should do this. I think they should, well, but when I talk about this to the guy, he says, well, but 80 bucks an hour. He says, if you think about it, let's say you're going 100 kilometers an hour. So 100 kilometers an hour one way, or 60 miles, 100 kilometers an hour back. So he says 200 kilometers, you know, since I'm paying both ways, right? He says 200 kilometers, and let's say 2 hours. I'm not sure how he came up with 2 hours for 200 kilometers, because it's BS. You know, I cannot do 100 kilometers an hour on roads like this with hills, and I am super heavy, right? So, but that's his logic. So he says 100 kilometers an hour one way and the other, it's 200 kilometers, right? He says we can either charge you $1.70 per kilometer, right, and then it becomes $340, or we charge you for 2 hours 80 bucks an hour. Wait, 200, yeah, then it becomes what, 360, right? Yeah, so it's more, but especially since I cannot drive this fast, and so 200 kilometers, it'll probably be 3 hours. So they're gonna charge me 3 times 80, 240. But anyway, so I never had a pilot where they charge by the hour. From the yard to the destination, back to the yard. It's just nuts. But what do you do? I needed a pilot. I couldn't sit on the phone for half a day trying to find a deal, right? Because as soon as I deliver, I get paid. Well, not this time because of the long weekend, right? Remember, Monday's Thanksgiving in Canada. So I will only see my money on Tuesday, 2 o'clock, usually Eastern time, which means that I will have it at 11. No, at 12, because I'll be in Edmonton, and Edmonton is on Mountain Time, so it's only 2 hours back. So the bottom line, Prince George, 399 kilometers. My GPS says 390 to the consignee, because I'm guessing he's on the east side of the town. Well, look at this. The sun is shining, but now it's +8 for some reason. And there's a slight pool above the valley. Of course, the views here are, you know, to die for. Kind of like Montana or Colorado, you know. Except the prices are 3 times higher. And the speed signs are in kilometers. We have another hill. What a surprise. Yeah, why would you want automatic transmission here? No, but really, I cannot believe that guy said that. He hates automatic transmissions, especially in the mountains. For me, that's the whole reason to have an automatic transmission, because I'm in the mountains changing gears like crazy with a manual, but I cannot do it. Right, I talked to Ethan Cummins when I was there. I said, you know, how much would it cost to put one of these into my truck? And they said they did it as an experiment on one of their test trucks, but they said it was very complicated. You have to change the ECM, reprogram everything, you know, the wiring. They said it's a nightmare. So basically it's cheaper to buy a new truck and spec the automatic in there. Well, we are 286 kilometers away from Prince George, and this guy, I gotta give him credit. He knows his roads because he's been doing it for so long. He knows everything. He says, well, except he missed one stop. He says there's a restaurant here. Usually we would stop here for for food, you know, but he says now it's closed. And as soon as we're passing that restaurant, there's a sign that says espresso, cappuccino, americano, and there's a big shoulder on the right, you know. And that, because that's the problem sometimes, you don't have, you see a place but you cannot stop. So that's him walking towards his truck, and I ask him more questions. I'm always curious about the vehicles they're using, right? So he's Dodge Ram, right? So 4x4 2017, and actually it's a diesel. It's a diesel. Speaking about diesel, price $1.43.9, which is 14 cents cheaper than what I paid in Kamloops last night. No? But this is great. He mentioned this truck stop before. He says, yeah, there's a place to stop. I thought we'd be stopping on the side of the road. He says, no, we can go in. He says, it's big. So now 285 kilometers, and I'm probably averaging 60 kilometers an hour because of all these hills and, you know, and stuff like that, and a bunch of small towns we're going through. But so 285 divided by 60 is what? 4.5 hours. No, time now is 11:08 local time. So yeah, because he was saying, he says we should be there around 3. So 285 kilometers, but it takes you 4 hours. And of course, that's why they like this, right? These guys, they charge you by the hour. Like normally 285, right? If you do, let's say, 60 miles an hour, you'll be done in 3 hours. But here it's 4, so these guys are making more money. Yeah, so basically BC is a very good province if you want to be a pilot driver. Weather is excellent. It's been raining, well, more not like raining, more like drizzling. A couple of times, you see it. Now I have some drops on the windshield, but it's nothing, and it's +9. +9. So I really got lucky. So, and I was driving and thinking, shall I stay there for Sunday? Because, you know, it's been a very intense week. I left Red Deer Friday, right? And then Monday I was in Las Vegas, but they were not ready, so I loaded Tuesday. And then today's Saturday. It's been this week, so I loaded Tuesday this week. And then I drove. First day I didn't drive much because I was tired. It took a day, right? And then I got stuck in that gate there. But then after that I did pretty well. But yeah, yesterday it was a crazy. I slightly went over my hours. My e-log was cursing at me, but I couldn't stop in the mountains there. There was nowhere to stop. But so yeah, yesterday I think it showed like 13 hours of driving, something crazy like that. But if you, I checked the distance, and the distance was only 500 miles. So it took me over 13 hours to drive 500 miles because of all this, you know, terrain. I hope I have enough money to pay this guy. John, what was the most weird load you escorted?
Big wooden boat.
Big bolt?
We did a great big boat that was used in a movie, and then they delivered it after the movie. They took it down to Walt Disney World or Walt Disneyland and made a theme park out of it.
Oh, so you said a wooden boat, like the one that's on the river, right?
That's right. It was
Okay.
like a Viking warship. It was 135 feet long.
Oh wow. What kind of trailer did they use?
It was a steering dolly.
Oh, like extendable with a steering dolly?
That's right.
And where did it, from and to where?
Was built down in Vancouver, and then we trucked it up here to Williams Lake, and it went south of Williams Lake to a lake over here, and they filmed the movie.
Oh, so the thing actually was able to sail, right?
Yeah, it floated. It had inboard, outboard motors inside of it. And it had the oar locks and everything. It had people pulling oar locks when the movie was on.
What was the name of the, was it like a feature movie or documentary?
It was a feature movie. It was called The 13th Warrior.
13th Warrior. Huh, interesting.
They brought another boat up too that was smaller. It was 80 feet long. And they took it out and put it on the beach and they burned it up.
Must have been some YouTube channel or something.
Oh, it was a Walt Disney production.
Oh my god. Yeah, I used to drive a tow truck before I became a trucker, so I drove like a 5-ton, you know, roll-off tilt and load truck, and we had some interesting loads too. I remember once they hired us to move a boat, the actual boat that was used in a 007 movie. And we just moved it from Toronto to Niagara Falls because there's a big movie theater there, and they had this kind of like 007 memorabilia over there.
Yeah, okay.
But it was a small, a very small, you know, like one of those quick metal boats. But it was nothing special. It was pretty small. It was the movie with, I forgot the name, but it was Sean Connery there. It had a scene with a chase, and he's driving like that boat on the river at like 100 miles an hour, and that's the boat they hired us to move.
Okay, that'd be nice. I don't know if you've been here long enough, but Williams Lake is the home of Rick Hansen. Have you heard of him?
Home of who?
Rick Hansen?
Hansen?
Hansen.
Hansen. No.
Well, about 20, 25 years ago, he went around the world in a wheelchair because he's a paraplegic.
Oh, 10-4, so.
There's a big monument over. There's a monument of him down here.
Yeah, I wasn't here. I came in 97, so what is that? 24 years.
Yeah, it was, what, about 92, I think?
Yeah, remember that guy that did a marathon across Canada with one leg? Yeah, I forgot his name, but his signs over there are in Western Ontario, where he did this run and then walk, but he walked all across Canada because he had cancer, right? So he was trying to raise awareness of cancer.
That was Terry Fox. He died there just around Thunder Bay.
Yeah, somewhere there. That's where there's a lot of, you know, you're driving on the side of the road, it'll say Terry Fox Way or something like that, you know, and there'll be his silhouette. It's pretty cool what they did.
Yeah, right.
So this is Williams Lake, and just going around.
Over on the left is Williams Lake.
Yeah, I see it. Looks beautiful. I wish it was sunny, but it's not. Yeah, somewhere here would be a cool, like not here, I mean, but like a lake and mountains and trees. Remember, guys, I was telling you what my horoscope said about Capricorns, and I'm a Capricorn, right? So it says mountain air. So I want to live where it's clean air, mountain air, and it's like this. And this is still 97 BC 97. And today the truck pulls better. Check this out. We have -1 restriction. But as soon as it climbs a couple of notches, I feel the loss in performance like that.
The rest area they built here, that was in tribute to Rick Hansen.
This area, because of the mountains, there's a lot of trucks, you know, like a lot of people buy something with a 4x4, you know, like a Challenger.
You go back to Alberta, just after the scales there at Tejon, that mountain and that rest area is called Terry Fox.
Oh yeah, 10-4. Yeah, I think I'll drive back tomorrow. Like, I don't see any prospects for loads over here, and so maybe something will happen in Alberta on Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, in my business, Wednesday usually is the best day of the week. That's when people wake up after the weekend, you know, slumber, and finally they start posting loads. So Wednesday is usually when I can book something.
All right.
Yeah, because then, you know, Thursday they start getting ready for the Friday party, right? Friday they all leave early and get drunk, and then Monday they all have sick heads, you know, they're sick. Tuesday, okay, and then by Wednesday they're back in full force at their desk. That's in a nutshell the life of a freight broker for you. So basically 100%, you give your job 100% only on Wednesday. That's my impression as a trucker. Like Tuesday, Monday you give 0, Tuesday you give 50%, Wednesday you give 100%, Thursday 75, sometimes I can find loads on Thursday, Friday 50%, you leave home, you leave the office at midday, and you go have a couple of beers during your lunch. So actually, and I think I remember this. This is the route I took when I was going to Las Vegas after that when I delivered the drill rig in Lacombe, north of Red Deer, right? And I was sitting there for 2 weeks as well last year. And then I found a I load
Pass me
in
on the left up here and I'll follow you through Williams Lake.
10-4.
Look on the right up there at the Tourist Information Center. They got a great big wheelchair made out of logs.
Where? I don't see it.
Clear.
Oh wait, it's 60 kilometers an hour. I don't need 7 low. Oh, this one he was talking about. Oh, check this out. Yeah, there's a wheelchair. Yeah, I see the wheelchair.
Building there, that Tourist Information Center was built by that Pioneer Log Homes, and their yard is just back there. Got the TV show and they sell log homes all over the world.
Yeah, I like those. You know, I see them in the States, like in Idaho there, Oregon, you know, like whenever there's mountains, people like these type of homes.
Yeah, right.
Are they expensive? Any idea?
Oh, yeah, they're in the millions.
Come on, like a wooden house in the millions?
And they build it all out here. They pick all the logs and they build them here, take them all apart, ship them all over the world, put them back together.
No, I'm telling you, prices here, like BC, is just crazy because it's, well, of course, not this part, but the other part, you know, like Vancouver, right near the ocean, it's like California, so everything is overpriced.
Definitely, yep.
Yeah, I was looking in the US on like Realtor.com, and you know, like you can buy 5 acres somewhere in the middle of US for like, I don't know, 10, 20, 30,000 bucks.
You're going to swing to the right up here just before the lake.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you mean this 97, the sign for 97?
97 north. We're going to be climbing a hill and you come out on a merge lane.
Well, I don't think I want more hills, honestly. Like I had enough in these 2 days.
You got a few more yet.
Man.
Take the next right to stay on British Columbia 97 North, signs for Grinnell, Prince George. Continue on British Columbia 97 North for 106 kilometers.
That's your own lane, so keep going.
Prince George 239, my consignee in Prince George 235 clicks. So if you guys are curious, look it up. Williams Lake, British Columbia. That's where Captain Sergei is now. Oh, by the way, the previous town we stopped because I needed to use the washroom, and it was inside a big grocery store. I ran inside, and then as I'm coming out, I hear somebody's shouting, "Sergei!" Like in the middle of nowhere, a town in British Columbia, Canada. Some guy recognizes me in the parking lot. He opens the door of his SUV. He says, "Sergei, I watch all your videos." But I didn't have any time. I said, "Cool." And I left. So thank you for watching, sir. You're a good man. I don't care what they say. Oh, check this out. many miles you put on before you sell them?
Me?
Sorry?
What did you say?
How many miles you put on before you decide to sell them?
Well, last one I had 750,000 on it. The one before that I think I had 600 and something.
You kidding? You had almost, what is it, like 1,000 miles? Wow. No, wait.
I got 380,000 K on this one.
No, so you're halfway there. So 700,000 kilometers. What is that? So 160 is 100,000 miles, right? Wow.
About 500,000 miles, something like that.
Do you think if you had a gas engine, do you think your truck will be this resilient?
I kind of doubt it.
Yeah, that's what you see. That's what. That's the beauty of diesel, is that these trucks, they last a very long time. But of course, you pay a premium. Yeah, but your truck, if you compare, let's say, your truck with a gas engine, let's say 5.7 Hemi, and the diesel, like, what's the difference? Probably 20 grand, 10 grand in price?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, so it's pretty expensive. So you pay 20 grand, and then, yeah, you said you get better fuel mileage, but it's probably a few years before you finally get rid of that $20,000 surplus.
I'll catch you, just keep going.
Alright, so he got stopped for a red light, but yeah, that's one vehicle I never had, you know. One, I had, you know, fast car, right? Like, that's what I consider Challenger. I love my Charger. I had a cargo van a long time ago. Actually, I think my second or third vehicle in Canada was a Dodge.
I'm behind again.
Therefore, yeah, I had a Dodge Ram, you know, like 5.7, like a cargo van. And I worked as a courier driver. I was delivering, you know, packages in the early days of my immigration. And I had a Plymouth. I think my first car was a used Plymouth. I had a Ford Focus. I had Dodge Ram truck. I had a Ford F-150 truck. I had two Mazdas, Mazda 3. I had a Ford Mustang, Challenger, and now I'm on Dodge Charger. The perfect balance of power, performance, and fuel economy and comfort. But one thing I never had a diesel pickup truck. That would be cool.